In the sunny village of Nduli, everything could be traded: cattle, gossip, even curses. But no one ever expected a goat to trade in heartbreak. Amara, the jewel of the village, had just turned 20, and the suitors were lining up like cows at a salt lick. She wasn't interested in gold or goats. She wanted love, real love, the kind her late grandmother used to whisper about under the mango tree. So when Chuma, the sweet onion farmer, tried to serenade her with a flute made of sugarcane, it should have been a swoon-worthy moment. He knelt in the middle of the bustling market, holding out a flower-woven crown, and stammered, "Amara, you make my heart grow roots." Then it happened. A shrill, obnoxious "mwee" echoed across the marketplace. Mbuzi, the village goat known for eating laundry, galloped through the crowd like a possessed wind. He head-butted Chuma straight into a tomato pile, bleated once more, and trotted off as if nothing had happened. The entire market roared with laughter. Chuma ran off red-faced, and Amara stood frozen, half annoyed, half intrigued. She had heard that goat make noises before, but this time it had looked straight at her. And for a moment, just a flash, she thought she saw her grandmother's eyes behind that goat's ridiculous stare. Word of Chuma's tomato bath spread like wildfire. Soon, Lawi, the wealthy merchant's son, decided it was his time to shine. With gold-threaded sandals and a voice smoother than melted ghee, he invited Amara to the mango tree, her favorite place, the one her grandmother had adored. He spoke of riches, travels, and how he'd build her a house with glass windows and a goat-free fence. Amara listened, flattered but distant. When Lawi leaned in to kiss her hand, a thunderous bleat erupted. Mbuzi charged out of nowhere, leapt onto Lawi's lap, and let out a fart so dramatic it echoed through the branches. Amara burst out laughing. Lawi ran off, shrieking about curses and ruined silk. Alone again, Amara turned to Mbuzi. "Are you following me?" she asked. The goat tilted its head. Then, in a voice only she could hear, it whispered, "Not all kisses bring joy, child." After several more failed attempts by suitors, each interrupted by bleats, sneezes, or sudden goat dances, the village became convinced Mbuzi was cursed. One day, Chuma returned, determined to try again. He planned a surprise proposal at the village festival. Chuma knelt under the lantern-lit baobab tree, crowd watching, drummers pausing. He opened a carved box. "Amara," he said, "will you—" "Mwah!" Mbuzi hurled himself into the fire dancers. Chaos erupted, sparks, screaming, flying drums. Chuma tripped and accidentally proposed to the village chief's mother. Amara ran, heart pounding. Why was this happening? Why her? That night, Amara dreamed of her grandmother. They were under the mango tree again, her warm, wrinkled hands on Amara's. "Be careful who you give your heart to," her grandmother warned. Amara awoke with a jolt, and there was Mbuzi staring from the window. In the darkness, she could swear the goat's shadow looked like an old woman's silhouette. "Grandma," she whispered. The goat blinked and vanished into the mist. Amara began avoiding suitors, but she couldn't avoid Mbuzi. The goat showed up at the river when she washed clothes, at her window during storms, in her dreams. And each time there was something too human in its eyes. She tested it. She held up an old locket, her grandmother's, and the goat backed away, trembling. That night, it spoke again. "I came back to protect you, Amara." Amara dropped the locket. "From what?" she whispered. Lawi returned, this time humbler, with a gift, a golden anklet etched with tiny goats. "A tribute," he said, "to the one thing that stands between us, Amara almost laughed, but Mbuzi didn't. The goat's fur bristled. He hides shadows behind smiles, the goat muttered. Lawi invited her for a walk, promising no kisses. She agreed. But Mbuzi followed, bleeding miserably. During their walk, Lawi offered her a drink from a gourd. It smelled sweet, too sweet. As she brought it to her lips, Mbuzi tackled the gourd and sent it flying. "What is wrong with your goat?" Lawi shouted. "Not my goat," Amara said, staring at the broken gourd. The liquid bubbled oddly on the rocks. Her heart raced. Had Mbuzi just saved her life? That night the goat spoke clearly. "The man wears gold but carries poison. Your heart knows the truth, even if your eyes pretend." Amara felt torn. Part of her wanted a normal life, a husband, children. Was she really about to trust a goat over a man? In the moonlight, Mbuzi laid its head in her lap and whispered, "Love isn't about how they look at you, Amara. It's about whether they would bleed to protect your soul." Chuma returned once more. No grand gestures, no crowds. Just him quietly planting onions by her fence. Day after day. Mbuzi didn't interrupt. Not once. Amara started to smile again. But when Lawi reappeared, bruised pride hidden by flashy gifts, the village buzzed with rumors. 2 men, 1 heart, 1 goat. Her heart tugged in 2 directions, but her dreams showed fire, ash, and the sound of bleating. It was Chuma. It had always been Chuma. Under the mango tree, she leaned in and kissed him, softly, tenderly. Mbuzi watched from afar, silent, still. Then it turned and walked away. That night, Amara slept peacefully for the first time, but dawn brought news. Lawi was gone, and so was Mbuzi. The villagers found hoof prints leading into the mountains, and at the foot of Amara's bed, her grandmother's old scarf. Chapter 11. The Return of the Scarf. Amara clutched her grandmother's scarf, heart pounding. She hadn't seen it since the funeral. A patchwork of worn memories and love. How had it ended up at her bed? She walked through the fields searching for Mbuzi, but the goat was gone, vanished like a dream. Chuma noticed her silence. "Something's wrong," he said gently, but she didn't answer. Her thoughts were stuck on the silence. Mbuzi had always screamed, always interrupted. But now, just when she gave her heart away, the goat had disappeared. In the stillness, she realized the screaming wasn't madness. It was protection. And now that she'd made her choice, her protector had walked away. A granary near Lawi's family compound burned through the night sky. No one was hurt, but something felt off. Lawi was still missing. Some whispered he had gone to the city. Others said he had been seen in the woods, speaking to someone who wasn't there. Amara watched the smoke rise. A strange ache settled in her bones. The scarf grew heavier in her hands. She dreamed again that night of Mbuzi at the edge of a cliff, eyes glowing, whispering, "It's not over." She jolted awake. The scarf was burning at the edges, but when she screamed, the fire was gone. Only the smell of ash remained. A traveler arrived, an old woman wrapped in tattered shawls, eyes cloudy, voice raspy. She came to the market and stared at Amara. "You carry sorrow on your back," she said, "and death in your kiss." The words shook Amara. Chuma tried to comfort her, but even his touch felt distant now. That night, Amara heard goat hooves outside, but there was no goat, just hoof prints in the mud, and a single onion left on the doorstep. The universe was trying to speak again, and she was terrified of what it might say. Despite everything, Chuma insisted. "Let's marry," he said. "Let's make joy louder than fear." The whole village helped. Garlands were strung, drums polished. Amara wore white, woven cotton and gold beads. But every time she looked in the mirror, she saw a goat's reflection staring back. Still she walked toward the altar. The sun glowed. Chuma smiled. But in the wind, she heard her grandmother's voice. "He's not the one in danger. You are." As the priest raised his hands, a scream echoed from the forest. Not a bleat. This time, a human wail. Amara froze. Guests murmured. Chuma looked toward the woods and stepped forward. Then another scream, and this time everyone heard it say, "Stop." Amara collapsed. When she woke, she was alone in the village square, the wedding gone. The scarf lay beside her, soaked in tears. The old woman returned. "He who takes what isn't his must pay in blood," she whispered. Then she handed Amara a mirror. In it, Amara saw the night Lawi gave her the gourd, saw how he had returned, furious, saw how he had cursed her, vowing that if he couldn't have her, no one would, saw him invoke something dark, something that bound Mbuzi's spirit to this world. The goat had screamed not to warn her about Chuma, but about herself. The curse was simple. The one Amara kissed would slowly lose their soul. Piece by piece, love turned toxic. That's why Mbuzi interrupted every touch. But now that she had kissed Chuma, it had begun. His smile dimmed, his eyes dulled. His once vibrant laughter fell silent. Amara fell to her knees. "How do I undo it?" she begged. But the scarf only fluttered in the wind. Amara climbed the mountain where the goat had vanished. "Come back," she cried. "Please, I believe you now." Thunder rolled, and then she saw her, Mbuzi, half shadow, half light, standing on the edge. "It's too late," the goat said, "but there is one way." "To save Chuma?" Amara asked. "Yes," said the goat, "but it means forgetting him, forever." She didn't hesitate. "Do it," she whispered. The goat nodded. The wind howled, light engulfed her, and when it cleared, Amara stood alone on the cliff. The scarf was gone, the memories too. Chuma walked past her days later in the market. Their eyes met. He smiled politely. She smiled back, but felt nothing. The village still talks of the girl and her goat, of love and curses, of screams and choices. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel.